tell us about your just opinion, the reason why Otter is so special.
No, I can give you a short answer.
Mm.
I think that we still have the better quality. I think that when you compare us with the rest of the products, you don't really get a sense of how Japan is until you're there. Like there's a lot of Japanese influences around you. It changed me. Going to Japan 2 times last year really gave me a different perspective. So, at the time, I got fascinated by that. I really want to learn as much as I can about, the history, the culture, the arts, the shokunin, these master artisans, is something that I aspire to do in my life. So, yeah, it's just beautiful.
Okay, Dave, let's get started.
Hello, Kaori, how are you?
Hi, I'm so good. Thank you so much for asking me. So please imagine there are many audience to looking for listening your amazing journey.
Okay, I hope so.
Yeah.
Hello, audience. Hello.
Yeah. So Dave, please introduce yourself. What do you do in Mexico City?
Yes, of course. Well, hi, everybody. My name is Dave Vejnovic. I live in Mexico City. I am originally from Mexico, and I am a senior product designer for Otter.ai, which is a leading company in the AI space. We do transcription for meetings. We have for a long time the leading natural language processing. So I'm there as a senior product designer. I have a background in advertising, in art direction, in branding. So at the time, I have somewhat of a dual role. So I do some work for brands, some work for product, and I also have my own design practice. So I help people get started with their companies, with their products, with their apps and stuff. And I aspire to be a design polymath, let's say. So anything that is exciting out there to explore, that be 3D or industrial design or motion graphics, I'm into that.
Amazing. So Autopilot, Otter AI, this is actually so popular for Japanese people.
Really? Wow.
Because easy to use. So I met many Japanese people who use Autopilot. Not only Japanese, like Ukrainian friends also using
Right.
for
Yeah.
like business meeting and summarize.
Yes. Yeah. We
It's
still have
amazing.
the lead. Yeah. The product, the technology is it's pretty good to be honest with you. Like it captures accent, it captures conversation very accurately, and it gives you the chance to take actions after that, like send emails or ask questions or get summaries, things like that. So yeah, I'm glad to know that you use it.
Yes. And then if I remember correctly, so your background is more advertising industry. And
Yeah.
then how did you join Otter AI?
That's an interesting question. Yeah, so as you mentioned, I went to graphic design school, so my background is in the analog world. I was doing newspapers, magazines, TV ads, things like that. And then I was kind of one of these designers that was I guess, in the forefront when the digital change came. So in advertising, we started having to design websites or apps or things that were more close to the net, to the web, right? Like to the socials and stuff. So our mindset changed from something that was like static into something that was more dynamic, right? So that was something that led me to exploring different avenues to just be creative with design. And I joined a couple of very interesting companies here in Mexico City that were trying to do kind of fun things within advertising, but with technology. And that kind of like opened up my eyes to what right now we understand as product design. Back then it was just helping design an app, helping design a website. And I joined product design when I was actually in Serbia. So I met my now wife here when I was in Mexico. I met her in Tinder. Then I flew over there, kind of like living my dreams to be part of the Bay Area and like of the San Francisco kind of energy behind. I went there to actually marry her. And when I was there, I joined product design, who was opening here in Mexico. But the pandemic started, right? So they didn't really care where I was. And joining Frog Design, which is this company that is very famous, They helped design the Mac back in the days. He's one of his old standing household names in design. That kind of helped me, get a larger network, get in the map, and it's been mostly curiosity, good work, I guess, being open to collaborate, and that kind of like led me to where I am right now.
I see. Cool. And then, at the time, so 5 or 6 years ago, you joined Otter.ai?
About 4, close to 4, I think.
4. I
Yeah.
see. At the time, how many people work with, like in your team? Do you remember?
I think we were in the design team. We were 4. Yeah, 4. And now
I
we
see.
are 8 or 9, I think. Is moving. But the team, the company itself, it went from 50 employees to more than 100 right now. I don't have exact count, but every single week we are, getting new people in, we are growing. So that's been very cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 4 years, tell us about your like challenging things in your company.
Yeah, of course. Well, that's an interesting thing about startups. They have very different lifespans, I guess. Some companies transform themselves very quickly in the amount of time that you mentioned, like 4 years. Some companies take a bit more time to evolve. And what has happened in the company over the last 4 years is that we have gotten much more solid in the space that we occupy in the market. So we were kind of like the tool that a lot of people used for transcription or interviews. And now we kind of became like the main name within the meeting space, right? And we kept adding to that set of features. So now we have AI chat. You can ask questions, about your meetings. We have, channels and things like that. That is something similar to what Slack is doing. We're trying to discover what is like our take on the whole meeting space, and more broadly, I guess, in communication and AI and all of that. So we haven't fully transformed, I guess, in a massive way, but we have gotten more mature, and then we have been able to grow at such a pace in a moment in which a lot of companies have been folding. That there have been a lot of layoffs recently in tech, and Otter has steadily grown, right? And we have just acquired more and more teammates and more talent. And I feel like we were pushing so hard to become a good product. We're getting there. I don't think that they're great. We're great yet. We are trying to become great, at least in the design front. But we're gathering the team. We're gathering the maturity, the processes. This is structure that you need to kind of go from being like a fast and loose startup towards a solid company. Sorry.
Don't worry. I see. Yeah, now already your company is not startup, more like corporate. What do you think?
I think that we are still a startup. We're quite small.
Oh,
when you
really?
think about I think that we are. We have, I guess, some space in the market, but we're still quite small. Things happen, within our circle. There's not a lot of these, processes that take a long time and that can be just bureaucratic. I feel like Otter is still a startup, but beyond are we going to survive or not? Now into let's just get big and get good and just be there with the A players,
Tell us about your just opinion. The reason why Otter is so special than other similar product competitors.
No, I can give you a short answer. I think that we still have the better quality. I think that when you compare us with the rest of the products, the results that we put out there are still better. I think that the product is very solid in the way that it works, and we keep working on it, constantly adding things, constantly adding value. So you can see an evolution in the entire company and in the product itself. So I feel that there's a reason why we keep being there, because we are really keen on delivering good results, which means that the thing that you get out of the product is valuable, So that's why I think we are still there. We're important.
I see. Amazing. Yeah, quality. Yeah, quality is so important.
Yes.
So the reason why we started to have like initial conversation
Uh-huh.
was you visited to Tokyo last year.
Uh, yeah, last year. Yes. Yes.
Mm,
I was there 2 times
yeah,
last year. Yeah.
2 times.
Yes.
Mm. So tell us, why did you like visit to Japan, and then why were you fascinated like Japanese
With the
culture or
with the
something? Yeah.
culture. Right.
Mm.
Well, it was always one of these like dream trips in my mind, right? Like, I grew up in Mexico, and a lot of people that grew up here, obviously kids, we grew up with the anime and with the manga culture and with the video games. So Japan is always this special place that we all want to visit. People my age, I guess. It's always in the back of my head. And then I had it always like as a trip that I wanted to do. And then when I got married and I was in Serbia, I think that we decided that for the honeymoon we were going to go to Japan, right? It was one of these trips that I had in the back of my mind for so many years, and my wife also was very excited to visit. And we just, planned to go there for close to 3 weeks for our honeymoon. And we ended up having so much fun that I feel a lot of the things that I was thinking about kind of connected because you don't really get a sense of how Japan is until you're there. Like there's a lot of Japanese influences around you. There's a lot of shows, a lot of art, a lot of like, products come from Japan. We have, a lot of like these cultural influences. But it's until you get there and you see how the people work, how the country itself work, how, transportation is laid out, how the streets are laid out, how, people are, respectful of each other in the street. And
Mm.
then you start kind of like getting into this rabbit hole, right? I was always kind of fascinated by certain things. For example, the calligraphy, I always saw it and I found that very interesting. But then when I went a bit deeper into the reason why things are the way they are and the art behind it, I just, became like fascinated by it because I feel that it's something that is so missing from the way that we live sometimes in the West. In the West, we live very, very fast. Like we prioritize efficiency over beauty or over content, over meaning, over this depth. And in Japan, you can see that even though it's a country that is still very modern, right? Like it's a country that keeps the pace. It's also very profound. The conversation between technology and culture, between innovation and tradition is so vivid there. You see it everywhere. You see it in the toys, in the shows, in books, in the
Mm.
stores, in the architecture,
Yeah.
and I just my mind just got blown with that, and I started kind of like just thinking, can I explore that more in depth? I started learning Japanese. I connected with some people who were very into the culture, right? And it just opened many other doors for me to start thinking about the way that I go about my life, the work that I do, the way that I approach things very simple in simple ways. It changed me. Going to Japan 2 times last year really gave me a different perspective. So at the time I got fascinated by that. I really want to learn as much as I can about the history, the culture, the
Mm.
arts, the shokunin, these master artisans is something that I aspire to do in my life. So yeah, it's just beautiful.
I see. Yeah, amazing. So you and your wife enjoyed the time in Tokyo, Japan. So I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Mm,
Yes.
yes. And then so you have amazing skill set, not only design, like more branding and also making contents, video contents too. So someday, do you want to live in Japan, and then do you want to create your agency, or do you want to join some like a global company in Tokyo?
Yeah, I think those are great questions. I've been thinking about that for a long time because I know that each path has its own kind of challenges, right? I feel like for me, it's less about where you are and more about the kind of quality of the work that you put out. I think you can really be anywhere, but there's something about Tokyo that inspires you so much. So one of my goals would be to start a design, agency or project by myself and be located in Tokyo, have that as my base, but not necessarily think that, my market is limited to Japan, right? That's kind of obviously a huge ask, but that's kind of the dream that, if I keep doing what I'm doing, getting good at it, getting more, more and more recognition that the place where I am matters less, right, than the work itself. And I would love to, collaborate with Japanese people. I would love to learn about how they go about, designing, making, building. What are the challenges that technology has there? What are the, ways that companies are happening? It's such a vibrant place, and I know that there has a lot of it has a lot of challenges at the moment, economic, demographic, social. So I think that it's an exciting place to put your skills to work.
I see. Yeah, I remember you mentioned you love technology, you love art, and you really interested in like product without technology and then good user experience. This is like you really want to learn or challenge. Is this correct?
Yes, exactly. I think that, I have this theory that design, or product design more specifically, needs to look a bit more into the roots of the discipline. I think that product design is very technical. When you think about UX, it's very much about the flows, the buttons, the systems, the markets. Tends to be, very rigid. And then I feel that, at least when I started doing design, and when I started in advertising and many other design, practices, creativity was such a big component of it, and beauty, and this like playful way to approach problems. And I feel like sometimes in product we don't have either the interest or the time or the capacity to think about all these other, beautiful aspects that design has. I think it's a challenge. A lot of the products are more dry, more technical, more functional, rather than beautiful. So I think that what I'm trying to do is trying to bring those worlds together in a way, because I have that background. I can design an end-to-end flow for a product, be very technical, have those meetings with my stakeholders, annotate all the design, build all the wireframes, get all the use cases. But then it's lacking something for me. It's lacking this fun aspect of it, this creative, beautiful aspect of it. And I feel that's something that, is not only, I guess, present in design, is something that is happening across a lot of fields. And I believe that there's a chance to think more deeply about how we can make technology beautiful, right? Like if you think about design, it's always this discipline that bridges. It's always the technique and tradition, right? That's the way that it has always been. Think about the history of design. It's always about the dialogue between those fields. And that's kind of my interest, to learn enough from product to be able to bring my aesthetic sensibility, my philosophical understanding of design, and build beautiful technology that has a heart, that adds to this human condition. And especially in AI, like a lot of people fear AI because it's not hard to imagine a moment in which people might prefer interacting with an AI or working with an AI, like replacing people. And even, us in Otter, one of our goals is to at some point create a digital twin of you, create the avatar version of Kaori, and send her to your meetings that you don't want to attend, for example. So it's a world in which we will have to contend with what does it mean to be human in an age in which you can have human-like intelligence. That's the interesting challenge for AI, right? And for design in AI. So, that's kind of where I'm thinking about going. Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like a lot of products are just, patching everything with AI, right? Like offering you AI even if you don't want it. So, even if you don't have a real use for it, sometimes it feels like that recently. But yeah, I mean, it's a super powerful technology that is going to be with us for a long, long time. And I feel the right approach is to be thoughtful about it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, last question,
Yes.
Dave. So I think after this our episode, many Japanese agency or some people, they want to hire you or they want to collaborate with you. For example, LinkedIn or your website or Instagram.
Yeah, well, I have LinkedIn and an Instagram, which would be, I think, good places to connect. Even though my Instagram is full of like pictures of my dog and stuff. So I think that's okay. Yeah, I think that LinkedIn, to be honest with you, it's been a while since I touched my portfolio. But yeah, to answer your question, LinkedIn, Instagram would be a good place.
Okay, I will put the link.
Thank you so much, Kaori.
Yeah, thank you so much for your precious time, Dave.
Of course, of course. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, yes.
I would love to
Please,
get your
please.
Yes, please. I would love to get your thoughts on product design in Japan because and maybe the entire technology field. Because last time I was there, the opinion was that Japan was very behind a lot of these technologies. That for some reason it was having a hard time catching up, in, I guess, the infrastructure or in the apps or in the websites or, I'm not really sure, but I wanted to know, like, what's your opinion on what is being built in design, through design in Japan?
Okay, so your question is, one, why Japan, especially like software, the digital design is lagging behind?
Do you think it's lagging? The question would be, do you think it's lagging? Do you think that the assessment that people have is
so
true?
I think kind of true because basically Japanese people mindset, we don't want to change because we already have enough like infrastructure. Why we have to change our website? This is many CEO people's mindset. That's why they don't change like from a 90s style website.
Okay.
And second, if I have a Japanese company, our 95% of users, they are Japanese. They can read Japanese. So they don't need to change like Western style, like a simple, good, like navigation, big visual, less text. They don't need to change.
Okay.
Such a mindset. That's why like slowly change, or they don't want to change.
Okay.
And third, I think Japanese. So when you are in Shinjuku or Shibuya, we saw tons of information, like in the building. Wow, overwhelmed, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So one of the aspects Japanese people love to put tons of information in the same screen or one page. Wow. So Western people, it's difficult to understand. But Japanese people, we already got used to. That's why we cannot improve.
Yeah. So do you think that it's hard for a Western trained designer to participate in the Japanese market because of those kind of cultural differences?
Great question. So many American or Western people, they started to create own startup in Tokyo. And then they don't care about the Japanese style. They can bring to like Western style. So thanks to these new startup, we Japanese also understood, okay, if we want to success, we had better to adapt Western style. And then hopefully they can accept like agile because Japanese company hierarchy. So if like product team, we want to push, but like many C-suite, we are so busy, and like what can I say? Approve is super slow. It's Japanese culture, like government work.
Right.
That's why like and perfection. They are afraid to publish before like perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, so that it always like slow, and then eventually lagging behind. We couldn't make Apple, we couldn't make Google. This is many people's opinion who I interviewed.
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting because Japan has been at the forefront of a lot of changes, right? A lot of innovations have come from Japan, like Sony or Nintendo. Like it's a company that understands technology. But it's very interesting how like software, right? Something that shifted to Silicon Valley. And for some reason doesn't seem to have another hotbed in Japan. There are many places where cool things are being built. Estonia or Ukraine, New York, London maybe. So a lot of places where you see these hotbeds of like technology and innovation happening. But for whatever reason, the opinion that I have from people is that Tokyo is not necessarily that place. And when I was there, the apps that I was seeing people using was, Twitter or YouTube, right? Like Californian companies in Tokyo. Those are the like I think heavier, like the winners, right, in the space. So yeah, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah, so if you want to find a great workplace as a designer or creator in Tokyo, you had better to find like a global team or global company in Tokyo, so that mindset is Western.
Right.
They can understand agile and user-friendly. And you can find, don't worry, there are many Western people, they started to own company every year.
Okay, that's everything I wanted to know. I'll see you in Tokyo then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any question?
No, just to thank you again, because I know that we had like some difficulties getting this meeting in the calendar. So thank you. It's always great to see you. Always great to know your adventures. Congratulations on your book and on your channel. You're doing awesome. And thank you. Just thank you for thinking of me.
Appreciate. Okay, let's keep in touch, Dave.
Always, yeah. If you need anything here in Mexico City, if you want to try some nice tacos, just let me know.
Yes.
Okay.
All
right. I'll see you guys.
Talk soon. Bye-bye.
The 3 key takeaways from a conversation with Dave today. 1. The reason why Otter.ai is special. From Dave's opinion, their quality is better. He thinks the results they are putting out, they are still superior when compared to other products. The product is very solid and they keep working on it, keep adding things, keep adding value. Second, why Dave continues to be fascinated by Japan. So, Japan has always been a special place for Dave and others his age. Dave and his wife, they dedicated to go to Japan for their honeymoon. When you actually go there, you see how people work, how their country itself functions, and how transportation system is organized. People respect each other on the street. In the Western, we live very fast. We prioritize efficiency over beauty, meaning over content. In Japan, consciousness is very still modern, yet maintain its own pace. History, culture, art, and show communities. Dave also admires their sophisticated craftsmen. 3. Why would Dave want to design products without technology? Because many products are drier, more technical, and more functional than beautiful. Dave designs the end-to-end flow of the product. It's very technical, meets with stakeholders, makes all the wireframe, and figure out all the use case. However, he believes such products lack fun and beauty. He believes this happens in many areas, not just design. He brings his aesthetic sense and philosophical understanding of design to create beautiful technology with heart. Thank you so much for listening to our episode today. We hope our stories will help your future and life. Thank you. Bye bye.